A new era is upon us in WWE as we close the book on WrestleMania 40 weekend. My God, it's been a hell of a weekend, guys. It's been a great 5 days of pro wrestling here on the channel. Predictions and SmackDown and Hall of Fame and Night 1 and Night 2. And here we are for our Raw After Mania review. And the first thing I want out of you guys right off the bat is let me know what you thought of the show. You can give me a letter grade. You can give me a number grade. Give me something overall, what you felt about tonight's show. I saw some people said it was underwhelming or it was meh. I'm not going to give it a meh grade. I'm going to actually give it a good grade, because I think that, 1 year ago, I said today on Twitter, I said, I'm really happy. I'm so glad that today is the day after WrestleMania 40 and not the day after WrestleMania 39, because it was 1 year ago, today, basically, when WrestleMania 39 drew to a close. Roman Reigns was still your WWE champion. And the next morning was basically when they announced the merger with Endeavor. And that's when Vince McMahon was back into the fold. And then he played a big role in last year's Monday Night Raw after Mania, screwing it up and making his presence known and just screwing everything up, just royally. And you think about where we were a year ago and where we were and where we are today, and man, what a difference a year makes. It feels so good. It's intoxicating. It's euphoric to watch wrestling and know definitively that we have a 0.0% chance of Vince McMahon's influence. And it seems like not only is this a massive relief for the fans, seems to be a massive relief inside of WWE as well. They are being not very subtle in terms of making sure everybody knows that it's Paul Levesque's show. This is the Paul Levesque era. Everybody from Paul Heyman to Stephanie McMahon to all the talent has spent the better part of the last week putting this man over. WWE, making these statements, even subtle ones like removing America the Beautiful from WrestleMania, now doing the national anthem on night 1 and God Bless America on night 2. Little things like that, things the commentary team is saying, things that Triple H or Stephanie said in their promo opening up WrestleMania, some of the things said in Media Day, and some of the things not said, some of the WWE's actions is telling us as fans that they are moving away and washing off, as best they can anyway, the stink of Vince McMahon. And you can feel it and see it in the talent. You can see it, in everybody's faces, how happy they are to be dealing with Triple H as opposed to Vince McMahon. And I think tonight was pretty much the beginning of that, that the message was being conveyed to us all weekend long. Now it's time to start telling your stories under this era, under this administration, under this new Renaissance era. Brand new champion, a couple of brand new champions. And I'm been watching wrestling for over 40 years now, and it's kind of been neat to see wrestling go through these different transitions and these eras. And you never really know you're in an era. Like, you don't just decide to start a new era. That's kind of hard to do. You always look back at the starts of these eras in hindsight, in retrospect. Okay, in retrospect, that's where the Ruthless Aggression era started, or that's where the Attitude era started, or that's where the New Generation era started. What they were doing here during the course of WrestleMania 40 weekend felt a lot like what they did at WrestleMania 10, around the same time of them going through another scandal of a different kind with the steroid nonsense and Vince McMahon about to go on trial and staring down the barrel of some serious prison time if convicted. So WWE made a conscious effort to move away from the roided out guys, move away from the big muscular superheroes, change the company's philosophy, change direction, and blast off into the next decade and the New Generation era. You go back and watch WrestleMania 10, Vince McMahon doesn't shut the fuck up about the New Generation era. And I feel like it's a lot of that same stuff here because, WWE is, viewing Vince the way Vince viewed, the stars that got him in trouble. And he needs to you distance himself and the company from that type of performer. And it feels like WWE is kind of doing the same thing with him. So now we're into Monday Night Raw tonight with Triple H opening up the show and thanking the fans and whatnot. And it definitely feels like we are now in this era, whatever it's going to be called, Renaissance era, whatever. But now we are on the other side of WrestleMania 40. WWE is, trying to, as best they can, not mention or remove Vince, or, not giving him specifically any attention. It's going to be really tough to do when chronicling their history and whatnot. But in terms of them, like a cathartic type of cleansing that seems to be going on internally in the company that's bleeding over into us fans. And if you think about how happy we are as fans not to have to deal with the crazy, disgusting scumbag sack of shit pervert, imagine how the talent must feel. Imagine how the people who have had to work next to this fucking psycho for so many years and having to put up with his bullshit. Shout out to Ibu of Wrestle Purists, who was talking to sources within WWE this week, and this was confirmed, that they are making an active, they are actively removing some of those dirty words. They are no longer going to shy away from words like professional wrestling and whatnot. And that is all that silly shit. Lists of banned words, not saying certain things, not saying certain words, and almost making wrestling like a curse word. That's all Vince. That was all Vince McMahon. So you can see with WWE just some of the things they're saying. Those are direct messages to him through the camera. Fuck you, old man. It's our show now. We put up with your shit for so fucking long, and now you can sit there and squirm and be fucking miserable and watch us take over and make this place greater than you ever could. WWE, imagine where we'd be if Vince would have gotten the hell out of there 10 years ago. Might be a whole different story right now, but we had to sit through nonsense. Vince McMahon tortured us, not only as fans, but the talent, that he put through meaningless matches, dumb storylines, shitty WrestleManias, passionless, emotionless Monday Night Raws week after week, formulaic, all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, AEW turns up. New company, competition. They got money. They're not even like small time. They got a billionaire running that, which means he can pay what WWE pays. That little bit of fire under them. Then you combine that a couple years later, Vince McMahon getting ousted, coming back, getting ousted again, trying to come back, getting ousted again. And now WWE is firmly under somebody else's control, hotter than ever. All those different factors led to WWE being a completely different product than what they were in 2018. And that's incredible how things can change in wrestling. It's what makes wrestling so awesome. Think about Double or Nothing 2019. Cody Rhodes is smashing the Triple H throne. Tell your 2019 self, hey, 5 years later, Triple H and Cody are going to be crying, hugging each other in the main event of WrestleMania 40 with Cody being the new WWE champion. That's a wild thought. Your 2019 self would think you are crazy. And to me, if anything, about tonight's Raw and the weekend, I think I appreciated that more than anything. Just the deliberate message that WWE seems to be sending, that this is the Paul Levesque show, and the Vince McMahon shit is behind us. And like I said over the weekend in both night 1 and night 2 reviews, let's not pretend that this Vince McMahon lawsuit is done and over with. It is not even close to being finished. There are still going to be, grisly details. There, could be a trial and more court proceedings and more company repercussions if we get any more information learned about people who potentially did or did not know this. Now, one, I think, good sign is that Stephanie McMahon made an appearance at WrestleMania. Apparently, this was kept quiet and listed on the internal run sheets as a Triple H promo. Turned out to be Stephanie instead, who was received warmly. The talent likes her. Stephanie has a lot of supporters in WWE. Everybody really likes working with her, working for her. Stephanie has always been really well liked. She has the unfortunate, last name, and she's the daughter of Vince McMahon. And that does raise some questions about how much she can really know about what goes on behind closed doors in this man's house, or on his text message, text messages on his phone. But it seems like Triple H, Stephanie, and even Bruce, for the most part, are safe, at least for now. But it also feels like, the TKO knows, and this is a report that came out today from Fightful Select, that nobody is indispensable, and that regardless of what someone's position is, if they are found to be in violation of anything here, especially with the Vince McMahon stuff, they won't hesitate to let them go. So for them to for them to so, outwardly and deliberately, support and put over and endorse Triple H makes me think that whatever they know about the Vince stuff, Triple H's hands are at least clean of it. And I think that's a good news for us. So WWE moving away from Vince seemed to be the message for this particular WrestleMania. And I'm glad that it happened to be WrestleMania 40. I'm glad this new era didn't come at WrestleMania 33 or something like that. Nice round number. First 40 WrestleManias are behind us. And now we're looking to the future. I like that. I like that message because I've seen the business go through different eras several times throughout my life. And we got another one. I think this is officially like a new era. We can coin this a new era. We can look back years later and decide where it exactly started. Some people might point to the original Vince lawsuit, or the first time Vince, got booted out. Other people might point to the Raw after WrestleMania 40. Some people might point to WrestleMania 40 itself, or maybe when CM Punk came back, in 2023. Who knows? But it definitely feels like this is a real, legitimate new era in WWE, and it's cool to live through another one of these. Because I lived through the Rock and Wrestling. I lived through the New Generation. I lived through the Attitude Era. I lived through the Ruthless Aggression Era. I lived through whatever the fuck the last 15 years were. And now we're into this. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. It's a good time to be a wrestling fan. In terms of tonight's Monday Night Raw, not the greatest possible Monday Night Raw after Mania we could have asked for, but a better one than last year. Like I said, 1 year ago, Vince McMahon was coming back into the company, forcing his way back in after the merger, and having a adverse effect on what we saw last year after Mania on Raw with Cody and Brock and all that nonsense. So 1 year later, we might not have gotten the most exciting Raw after Mania of all time, but it certainly wasn't bad. We had an unannounced appearance from The Rock and from CM Punk and from John Cena. So we had some fun. You couldn't do a cash-in because you already cashed it in last night. So what else did you really want them to do? And like we're going to talk about here in a minute, the Cody and Rock stuff was really, really interesting. What the fuck did he put in Cody's hand? Dentures? A condom? 2 hits of Molly? Is Cody's mom's finger? A family heirloom? Car keys? Money? A check? What the fuck was it? A Werther's Original butterscotch? I want to know what's in his hand. It was interesting. Don't you ever break The Rock's heart again. It feels like that's Rock alluding to the fact that Cody didn't, wanted to have his WrestleMania main event. Rock wanted to have it, and then Cody was like, no, I fucking want it, and that broke The Rock's heart. Or does breaking The Rock's heart mean that he beat Roman Reigns, that he beat the tribal chief? Maybe The Rock handed him some tribal family heirloom. You beat the tribal chief, so this is yours. But I'm going to come back for it. When I come back, I don't know. Lots to talk about, lots to unpack. 5 straight days up here streaming for WrestleMania weekend and WrestleMania week. It's been a hell of a fucking month. It's been a lot of fun. We've done collaborations. We did 6 WrestleMania watch-alongs. We've done a ton of podcasts, special episodes, mic drops, live streams, watch-alongs, reviews. It's been a time. I want to thank each and every one of you who hung out with me, especially not only this weekend, but all month long for all of the videos that we've been doing. I want to thank all of you so much for your support and for just being here. So if you don't mind, before we get going tonight, thumbs up button, smash it. If you are not a subscriber, would love if you stuck around. Our numbers for WrestleMania weekend were incredible. Great views, great amount of engagement, tons of comments, super chats were great. Everything was great across the board business-wise for the channel. One metric did not do well. For some reason, all weekend long, we didn't pull in like any subscribers. Maybe 50. That's virtually nothing. So that surprised me. So if you are watching right now and you're not a subscriber, please become one, because I was hoping to get a little bit closer to 50,000 subscribers after this weekend. And even though our numbers did great in every other metric, for some reason, subscribers sucked. So I would love to get some more. Please stay with me if you are here for the first time. And good to see everybody in here this evening. Let me just say hello to everybody in the chat. We'll knock out a couple of super chats here. Maybe give some more thoughts, general opinions about WrestleMania. And then we'll start talking about Monday Night Raw. Also, for those of you who were here for our watch parties and reviews, we taped the reviews right after the watch party. We just stayed on the stream and just taped the review. I clipped those out, uploaded them separately as standalone review videos and then just edited down the watch parties to where it's just the watch party now on the original video. So if you want my review of night 1 and night 2, they are up on my channel individually, taped from the live streams, or I'm sorry, from the watch-alongs, and they're up there now. So you can get my full thoughts on night 1 and night 2 already on the channel. I'll give you some more thoughts here tonight. We'll elaborate more on it, and I'm sure we will have lots to say by the time we arrive to this Saturday on the Winged Eagle podcast, because we kind of have a big dynamite going on Wednesday, as well as apparently they're going to be sharing the all-in footage, but I'm still not quite ready to tackle that. We're still in WWE mode here, and we have a lot to talk about as it relates to this night's Raw, or tonight's Raw, and then after that, I have got to take a wrestling break. Me and Elizabeth are going to have some dinner tonight. I said, babe, whatever we watch tonight, movie, TV show, whatever we do, not wrestling. I'm wrestled out. I need a night away from pro wrestling. So we're going to watch the latest Curb Your Enthusiasm, maybe a movie. And I'm just going to break away from wrestling for a couple of days because it's nuts. And I'll check back in with y'all on Wednesday. But Wednesday's going to be a whole nother story for another time about a whole nother company. But like I said, this whole week and weekend especially has been all about WrestleMania, all about Cody Rhodes, all about WWE. And we will continue that trend here tonight as we talk about the Raw after Mania. But good to see Zayn G, Joshua Aparicio, JJ Leg. I'm going to try to hit some channel members if we can. Tatanani and Zach Palgett and Jay Lambo are here. We have the OG Michael Kumo in the house. All Pro Sports are rigged. See how easy it is to say your name now? Seventh Season is in the house as well. Super Fluffy Toaster, longtime OG supporter, even on Patreon. Super Fluffy, you're the best. I appreciate you. I just want you to know that. Deshaun Robinson, also good to see you. Rarely even has got $5 for us. Punk not wearing his brace, and they're letting him be somewhat physical. Is he almost ready to return? I have a feeling he is. I wasn't expecting Drew to win that match tonight, and I had a feeling, I can't remember if I dreamt it or if I actually said it last night in the review. I don't remember, but I definitely had the conscious thought of Punk fucking with Drew again tonight. And then once they made that fatal four-way for the number 1 contender spot, I'm like, well, Drew's not just going to get the spot right away after all that. I was like, Punk should come out and screw him again, and he did. I wish I would have tweeted it or predicted it or something, but it was definitely on my mind. And I like that because Punk, he still owes Drew a couple. That's why I was so, last night when you guys, we were watching WrestleMania together, you saw me, I was so unconvinced that Drew was winning the title. I'm like, nope, something doesn't feel right. You don't go through all of that trolling of CM Punk just to win the title and then hold it in his face. And I'm like, something's going to happen. And then as soon as Punk leg swept him, I'm like, yes, that's all I needed. To me, Priest was already champion by that point. I didn't even need to hear Judgment Day's music. I didn't need to see Priest run down there or do anything. The minute Punk took Drew's legs out, I'm like, that's it. That is it. So today, Punk was kind of trolling him on social media. Punk had the picture of himself over the grave, with Drew's Mania title, the aspirations on the gravestone or whatever. And, I still didn't think that was really quite enough, So this Punk showing up here and helping out Jey Uso get the win, I think that's a really cool kind of first, title defense for Priest. Jey Uso is just fine. And, now that opens up the door for McIntyre to, win the title at Clash at the Castle, as I expect him to. And I have been expecting him to ever since they announced the date. One mistake I did make about that is I was under the assumption that it was a stadium show. Because last time it was a stadium show, it's Clash at the Castle. I think of Castle as something very big, but apparently it's just a straight arena show. Still, though, doesn't matter. I think that's going to be where Drew wins the championship. We've got some C's, B pluses, B, C, 5 out of 10, C, B plus, C, C. Everybody's giving tonight's Raw a C, it looks like. And honestly, y'all, I can live with that. I can live with a C grade. I'm not going to argue with the C. Who else can I say hello to? Let's just start saying hi to everybody because we don't have all fucking night. Rodrigo is here. TP Gills. We got Doug Unfunny. Try not to fart. The new one is here. We've got Roman Stone, Dana Lord, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. We got Riddle Room. JJ87 is here. Ronnie Matthews is up in here as well. My friend Dan Price. Let me see. Who else? Dan, you've done some logos for me before, haven't you? If there are any really good, talented, qualified graphics designers in the chat right now, shoot me a DM on Twitter. I'm going to be in the market for some new logos soon. So Let me know if anybody is interested in that. And I don't expect this stuff for free. I pay people. So if you do this for a living and you think you can help me out, hit me with a DM. We'll do business. Tony, good to see you. Harry Rice, Roman, I think I got you already. Jason, Andrew, Dave Sims. We've got Vash Starwin, Mr. J, Decimania, Green P is in the house as well, along with Brian. Chris Ludek, the Juliet is here. Ben Espinoza. And we got JLW dropping in $5. Thank you for that. I like Vince because without him, Triple H, Rock, Roman, Taker, Hogan, Attitude Era wouldn't have existed. I don't know. Those are the type of comments that are just so weird to me. Nobody is disputing, like what Vince did. Vince was responsible for providing me with, years and decades of entertainment throughout my life. But when Vince McMahon, is accused of doing something that he is doing, oh, I don't care because he gave me Undertaker. That's an incredibly self-centered worldview. Oh, I don't care because he gave me Undertaker, so I don't care how many women's hair he shit in. Weird thing to say. I do not have that mentality and don't understand people who do. The Juliet, appreciate the $2 from you. Still no WrestleMania 41 announcement. That's true. That is one raw disappointment. Well, if WrestleMania 41 is in fact going to be in Minneapolis, I don't really need to be rushed in that announcement. I don't give a shit about Minnesota. I probably won't go to WrestleMania, although I might. I was really hoping for Vegas. So if it's going to be Minnesota, I'm in no hurry. They can announce it whenever. But yeah, usually they, try to let you know, where WrestleMania is going to be the following year, so fans can start making their plans for the big show. Barry MK is in the house all the way from Hawaii. Thank you, dude. Rock gave the key from the Vince lockbox. Man, people were bringing up the lockbox. I must have just not been, not been paying attention, or I don't remember, but I don't remember that lockbox shit. I guess it was during Vince McMahon or Shane McMahon's return in 2016, and he had that match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And I think if he won that match, he was going to run part of the company, and the reason he got that opportunity is because he had some leverage over Vince in the form of a lockbox, I guess. Just some dumb shit they never followed through with. So Rock may have given Cody a key to the lockbox. It's very possible. Super Fluffy's got 2 for us. Maybe he gave Cody a piece of Roman's necklace. That's what I thought. I think it's some tribal thing. I think it's something maybe personal to the Anoa'i family, or something that maybe belongs to Roman or would belong to a tribal chief, that if you get embarrassed and lose a fight, you're no longer the tribal chief. You're maybe Rock took it out of his bag. But what he did say that was interesting is he goes, you don't have to look at it to know what it is. Like he reached in his pocket, he gave it to Cody, and he said that Cody knows what it is. So Cody knows. So I'm thinking, maybe it was some gentleman's wager. Maybe it was a gentleman's agreement or something that the two of them made behind the scenes. Because there's some story being told there too. They're releasing that documentary soon about how all this shit came together. So maybe Cody sold his soul or something, maybe that was Cody's soul that Rock put in his hand. I don't fucking know. And he delivered the line, don't break my heart. We'll talk about it in a minute, but I'm curious what it's going to be. And if it's going to wind up being something like a piece of the necklace or just something like that, then there's no reason to wait 6 months to tell us. Only if it's like a huge part of the story. If what is revealed to be in Cody's hand sets not only Cody's character, but his story in a completely different direction, then you can build it up and wait. But if it's a fucking key to your Ford Focus, just tell us. It doesn't matter. Super Fluffy, Jonathan this time. Thank you for the $5. Drew is now dealing with petty punk, and nothing's worse than a petty punk. This is karma hitting Drew for all the trolling and hypocrisy. Great story. It is, because you knew Punk was going to take all that shit lying down. And as great as Drew's trolling was, as masterful as he was doing it, and he was entertaining the dog shit out of me, watching him on social media and what he was doing on TV, all of the trolling of CM Punk was so incredibly excessive that they were telegraphing the shit out of what was going to happen at WrestleMania. I was expecting Punk to cost Drew the match or cost him the title after, but really I kind of just thought he'd cost him the match in general. And the more and more trolling Drew did, the more you knew that Punk was going to get his revenge at WrestleMania. And Drew did so much trolling that that revenge carried over to tonight's Monday Night Raw. So Punk, within a 24-hour span, less than that, or a little bit more than that, I should say, he cost Drew the World Heavyweight title. Then he cost Drew a World Heavyweight title shot 2 times. That's great. It is a great story, and it's karma hitting Drew right up his ass, and I like that. Good to see Noah. Sean Swaby is here. Iron Indiana Minotaur. Joe is here. Primello Anthony. Wrestling Gamer. Dan Bistro. I don't recognize some of these names. Good to see you guys. Please subscribe if you are new. Gabriel Palacios, thank you for the $5. Hey, Greg, so what's it like living in California cost-wise? Is it as bad as I hear? Think about moving there to find something. It's fucking expensive as fuck. I live in the most expensive city, I think, in the entire country. San Diego, California. It ain't pretty. I do not even want to tell you what my rent is. I have a 5-bedroom, 2-story home here in San Diego that I do not own. And it's expensive. It's very, 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 very expensive. Go live in the mountains in West Virginia. You can live for a year on $58. Living here, you won't make it 30 seconds on $58. It sucks, but it's also a beautiful place to live, and I fucking love it. But the cool thing is, too, you know, you make more out here, you know, so, you know, I'm living the same quality of life I pretty much was on the East Coast. Even though I'm making a lot more money here, I'm also paying a lot more, so it evens out. So, you know, if you find the right job, it'll even out regardless, but gotta find the right job. Bo Klavlovic, good to see you, man. Also, Denny Downbad, did I get you? Justin Kongalong, I know that's not your name, but that's what I like to say. We have Daniel Malcolm, good to see you. Channel members, right on. That dude. Oh, yeah, that dude. They just completely forgot about the Women's Battle Royal. Was there a Women's Battle Royal? I wasn't aware of a Women's Battle Royal. There was some talk, though, tonight, as we're about to talk about right now, with that opening promo going nearly an hour, that fans were starting to think that matches were going to be cut. Jade Cargill and Chelsea Green on some of the early Raw plans that was released by Fightful Select. They broke the John Cena news earlier on in the day. And they were listed in the first hour. So Rock went, they perceive Rock to went long, or fans are thinking that anyway. Rock went long. So they were going to cut Jade and Chelsea, but they got him in. They got him in the third hour, and it was fast. It wasn't going to be a long match anyway. It was going to be a 1-segment match. It was going to be 10 seconds, and that's all it was. That's all it was. I don't even understand why Jade had a match on Raw. They just made a whole big deal about her signing with SmackDown, so why the fuck is she having a match on Raw? I think that was just to get her a match, you know, in a Raw ring for, you know, B-roll purposes or something like that. I don't know. We do have a draft coming up pretty soon as well. So Jade didn't even need to be on the show, but she was. She looked awesome. She beat Chelsea. And they definitely had a lot of talking going on in that first hour, but who cares, man? That was another big complaint I saw. Man, there's not been much wrestling. Look, dudes, we have 52 3-hour Monday Night Raws per year. If just one of those Raws, especially a Raw after Mania, has a little more talking than wrestling than it normally does, I think we'll survive. If there's one thing that we as pro wrestling fans aren't hungry for right now, or aren't starved for, or aren't missing, or aren't lacking, it's good in-ring wrestling. That shit is everywhere. That's everywhere. AEW right now is really focusing on that. So if you want, and I love that about them, you know, but also with WWE tonight, it's time to start telling their news stories. So I think it's a nitpick thing to do. I think it's a little silly to get mad when every single week Raw is too long anyway. It'd be one thing if they have an hour-long segment on SmackDown. That takes up half the show. But if you have an hour-long segment on Raw, well, now you're just left with 2 hours. Now you're just left with a normal-length wrestling show. So it's really not that bad if you just gobble up the first hour with talking. Who cares? I could give 2 shits, especially on a Raw after Mania. They can get a pass tonight. It's no big deal. There's a lot of WWE action every week. So we might have gotten 1 or 2 matches less on this Raw than we got last week or we'll get next week. Why are we mad about that? I don't understand. I don't fucking understand. Wrestling encompasses everything. So weird thing to complain about, but I definitely saw it going on the social medias. So tonight's Monday Night Raw, they were still right in Philly, right across the street at the Wells Fargo Center. Another minimalist set here because it was another sellout. So they didn't have the big stage and the screen and all of that. because wrestling's white hot. So they had a sellout here for Raw tonight, and the show opened up with Triple H. So Triple H comes out to the ring, met by a very, very warm ovation, huge pop for Triple H. He gets in the ring and immediately a thank you, Hunter chant. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Hunter. So everybody is just showing the love to Triple H. And like I said earlier, it feels really good to know definitively that you have a 0.0% chance of Vince McMahon influencing these shows. And it feels good to know that because when he previously left, even though we kind of knew that he wasn't going to be around, it was still a little bit nervous. Ronda Rousey said, he's running the show through Bruce. That ain't happening now. I'm sorry. It's just not. Vince McMahon has got way bigger fish to fry than worrying about what wrestler is in what segment saying what catchphrase. He's got bigger problems. So I feel like Vince truly is gone. He can text whoever he wants. He can give input. He has no power over anybody. There's no reason to be afraid of him. There's no reason to, worry about being honest about how you feel about his behavior because how it might affect your status in the company. No, I think the company wants you to speak out against him. So I don't know what anybody would be worried. Like when Ronda is saying those things in these interviews and these books, the company, or a lot of wrestlers are scared to say anything. I don't know why. Sounds like the company's pretty pissed off at Vince McMahon too. I don't think they would get upset if one of their talent went on an interview and said, man, I was disgusted when I read that. Fuck Vince McMahon. I don't know how that talent's career could possibly be harmed by having a fucking moral compass. It's ridiculous. So I really don't think that that's even an issue, really. But the fans showing the love to Triple H, that's all a part of this. It's just this removal of Vince, this tumor. And it's just really, really felt good. So Triple H is like, that's funny. I was coming out here to thank all of you for a great weekend. Great WrestleMania weekend. You guys turned out. You were vocal. You were enthusiastic. You were the WWE universe that we know and love. And it's because of you that we had the biggest WrestleMania in history, which we knew they were going to tout. They were going to shatter every metric, ticket sales and revenue and all that stuff. They were going to crush it. And they did. It was a hugely, hugely successful show. And he talked about WWE now moving into this new era, and the person that's going to lead them into the new era, the brand new undisputed Universal Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And he gives them this big introduction. Cody comes out. He's just got the regular belt. They did show on WWE social media today, them changing out the side plates. So them Roman side plates have been screwed on there for all these years, finally coming off, although technically the belts have changed a bit. So it's not the same side plates that's been screwed on there since the Thunderdome, but, technically it's a long time coming, putting some different plates on a WWE title belt. So Cody came out with that. He took a picture. He posted a picture on his Twitter and Instagram of the WWE Universal title next to that old 70s belt that Dusty briefly held in his hands during the match with superstar Billy Graham. I've been saying for months leading up to WrestleMania that if Cody finishes his story, I would really like to see that belt on Monday Night Raw during his victory speech. I would love for him to bring it out. I can't believe that he didn't. I'm disappointed that he didn't. I'm disappointed that he didn't at least have it at ringside there where he could unveil it and show it to people and, not wear it to the ring and use it, every week, but just have it out there. I was even hoping that we would have 2 belts out there. 3 total. One that Cody is carrying, the old 70s belt that he now owns, that his dad was never able to officially hold, and perhaps a Cody Rhodes custom belt with an old Winged Eagle design is what I was hoping we would see. We didn't get any of that. That doesn't mean it can't still happen. That doesn't mean Cody can't unveil a new championship belt next week. Maybe tonight was just about the celebration and doing the Rock thing and all of that. But at least for now, it's just the standard WWE Universal title. I was also hoping, we were kind of hoping this collectively last night during the review, that maybe they would drop the Universal name. Like, what's the point of even having it called the Universal title at this point, right? Like, why does it need to be the Universal title? You should just call it the WWE title. Why does it need to be called the Undisputed title? How is it undisputed? Why is it an undisputed title if you have another title? So I just think they should just change it back to the WWE Championship. That's all that belt that Cody's currently carrying needs to be called. Because if you have another world championship there, how can you call yourself the Undisputed Champion? I think you just need to be the WWE champion. That's it. Simplify it and somehow reconnect that belt's legacy back to the original and just make it all one and just done with the Universal title. That title is now defunct. The name is gone. It's obsolete. It does not exist. But they're still calling it that, which fucking sucks. I would even like it if they would stop saying WWE Universe, because apparently pro wrestling is not a dirty word. All these little buzzwords and keywords that Vince liked, his talent and announcers to use, and a bunch of words he liked them not to use, all that shit's off the table. You can talk like a human being again, which is good to hear about in WWE. So, I think that having, if Cody were to still bring back, that title design, he could still have like a smoking skull John Cena theme belt like those guys did. And I think that can still, be on the horizon. But for the time being, he just has the belt. It's still called the Universal Championship. Maybe they'll change that up. Maybe they'll clean it up. They got some cleanup to do in the draft. They didn't address Cody's status. He didn't say tonight is my last night on Monday Night Raw. He didn't say that, but I would assume that Cody's kind of a SmackDown superstar now if he's carrying the SmackDown belt, unless that's unofficial, unless the belt is just now on Raw and SmackDown's left without a champion for a while. And Logan Paul's a part-timer. They got no titles over there. It's a good thing they got those tags and they got Bayley's belt, but that's about it. So we'll see if any of that gets worked out in the future. But Cody was out there with just the regular belt first. He then shook Triple H's hand. Huge "you deserve it" chants for Cody Rhodes. Triple H congratulates Cody on finishing his story. And he said that he got a phone call last night at like 2 a.m. from a couple of their production guys who had put together something really nice for Cody. And they asked if they could share it with Triple H. And then Triple H saw it and says, I want you to play this on Monday Night Raw. So a really nice like video package, music video set to Cody's journey, finishing his story. But what was funny is they were running the minimalist set. So they got no Tron to play this on. So Cody in the ring can't watch it, but they have like monitors set up, like just 50-inch TVs set around ringside. Like it kind of was like the Boiler Room Brawl at SummerSlam. It was kind of like the Boiler Room Brawl at SummerSlam, 96, where they had the TVs set around ringside. So they just had a TV there, and I guess they might have piped in the audio or something, because while they were playing the video package, they went to like a split screen, and Cody was getting very emotional. Definitely seemed like he could hear it. So I don't know if the fans in the audience could hear that or where it was playing or how loud it was or what, but it was a very nice, video package, very, very nice. And it got Cody quite choked up. I was actually worried about Cody in this promo. Even last night, I'm like, man, I hope he can hold it together tomorrow when he comes out to celebrate, because he's going to have to talk about his journey, his story, his dad, his mom. That's going to be really hard for him to get through. And I was worried about it, or worried about him. And then when they showed that video, I'm like, oh God, Jesus Christ, Cody's never going to be able to finish the promo. So Triple H then, after the video, he leaves, and Cody gets on the mic and he goes, so what do you want to talk about? And he struggled to even get that out. That had to feel so good. What do you want to talk about? He's got the belt right there. And, it was really hard for him to even say that. He was overcome by emotion almost instantly. Now, it was funny because he then turned his attention to Samantha Irvin. And of course, last night, Samantha had one of the, most wholesome moments, in wrestling history when Cody won, pinned Roman Reigns, and finished his story. Samantha Irvin couldn't get through the announcement. Some people might think that ruins the moment for Cody. I kind of think it adds to it. She was so happy and so overcome that she couldn't announce him as the winner. She was really struggling to say it. Cody, your winner is Cody. And it was all choppy and weird and everything, and it didn't sound good. And so Cody was going to make her get it right. And Cody had asked Samantha to indulge him and please announce him as the World Heavyweight Champion one more time. And she gave a beautiful introduction for Cody. And I'm wondering if they now take the audio from that and they lay it over the WrestleMania audio as like a network edit, and you hear Samantha Irvin's Cody introduction from Raw on WrestleMania, or if they leave it intact. I think they should leave it intact because it was a great moment. There's video footage of her doing it, and you can tell like she's not faking that. That's very, very real, and that's awesome how invested it seems like everybody really is in Cody and how happy everybody really is for him. So he has Samantha introduce him properly. Then he shows footage on the video screen of his daughter, who's like sitting on the bed in the hotel or something, saying, "Finish your story, Daddy. Finish your story, Daddy." And he goes, "That's all the motivation I needed right there." So Cody said a lot of great things. It was heartwarming to see him with the championship. We talked about this last night. I'm not a huge fan of the white meats, but every now and then one comes along, that connects with you. And Cody definitely has. I really like him as a champion, and I immensely enjoyed watching him finish this story. I wasn't really that worried. I figured that all year long he's got to do it this year. Otherwise, what the fuck did you sign him for? So to see that come to fruition, to see that play out, to see Cody get that, as a wrestling fan, as an old man now who's sappy, I'm closer to 50 than I am to 40. And I'm no longer full of P and V. I'm not trying to be edgy or cool or go against the grain or anything. I just like what I like. And, with Cody, him in WWE, I was not expecting him to be as appealing as he was. I wasn't even a huge fan of him in AEW. I like Cody just fine. Always have. Love the Rhodes family. Always. But, never really had Cody pegged as one of my all-time favorites or anything. And something happened, man. Him coming to WWE. Remember all of the talk we had about Cody between the announcement of him leaving AEW and coming to WWE? Oh, WWE's going to fuck him up, because don't forget, we were still in Vince mode back then. So we still had every reason to believe that WWE is going to destroy Cody Rhodes. They're going to make him Stardust again. He's going to be working main event in NXT and a jobber. A lot of fans thought that. And hell, they had a lot of evidence to draw from to formulate that opinion. They might have been, pessimistic and a little bit negative, but can you blame them? I wasn't in that boat. I didn't think they were going to go in that, drastic of a direction. Sign Cody just to make him Stardust to get back at AEW. That seems a little too petty even for WWE. So I wasn't really buying into that, but I could at least understand fans' concerns. And I don't know what it was, y'all. WrestleMania 38, the minute he comes up, any worry, any concern I had was gone. I'm like, that boy right there is a star. The way they had the logo and the 4K render of the logo and it coming out and spinning around when he made his entrance. I'm like, oh, they intend to make Cody a big star. He's not coming back to be Stardust. He's not coming back to team with Stephen Amell or win the tag team championships here. He is coming in to be a main eventer. And that was apparent and blatantly obvious from the time he was making his entrance. I was watching people from AEW like Aubrey Edwards and whatnot tweeting, "This is so cool." Everybody was so happy for him, to get to WWE. And I was blown away by what a big star he came off as. Then he beat Seth Rollins, then he beat Seth Rollins again, then he beat him in the Hell in the Cell, and then he got injured. Came back, won the Rumble, and now we're going to WrestleMania 39. He comes up short. You're really, at the end of the day, it was for the best. Because I'm happy we finished the way we finished at WrestleMania 40, and to see him standing in the ring tonight on Raw with the title makes it worth it. It was a rough last year. It wasn't all bad. WWE had some great pay-per-views. WWE business-wise was hot, but there was still a lot of Vince stuff lingering. Still a lot of unanswered questions there with what's going on with that. And what happened last year after WrestleMania 39, leading into the Brock feud with Cody, and, his path seemed uncertain then, but he got back on track. And then when it seemed uncertain again, when The Rock came back in, and even when CM Punk came back in at Survivor Series, we started maybe questioning Cody's path back to Mania. Is it really going to be Cody and Roman? But it really always was Cody and Roman. We knew it when Aldis came in and got signed as the GM. They did a little face-to-face in the aisleway. I'm like, there's your WrestleMania main event right there. It can't be any other way. It can't be any other way. So when The Rock came back and threatened that for a minute, I don't blame any fan that was pissed about that, because no, you guys have been telling us this story. You're not taking that from us. And you're sure as hell not taking it from Cody Rhodes. So I'm glad that they didn't. So just that visual with Cody, seeing him there, made the wrestling fan in me happy, made the little kid in me happy. The little Greg in me. The little Jack in me. What movie is that from? Oh, man. So anyway, one thing that was interesting about Cody Rhodes, what he said here before The Rock came out, and I think it's going to factor in to what he does in the future, he did not thank Seth Rollins. Now, granted, I don't think he thanked John Cena or The Undertaker either. But given how Seth Rollins had his back through all of this, given how Seth Rollins was so driven by motivation to end the bloodline, and what he did last night, literally being Cody Rhodes' shield. When we were watching the watch-along, seeing Seth Rollins come in and immediately get taken out, like he went through, he put on the shield gear, came out to the shield music, got in the ring, only to get immediately Superman punched or whatever and taken out by Roman Reigns. A lot of fans were laughing, oh, Seth, you idiot, you got all dressed up and you just got fucking punked. But that was the intent. The intent was to get in the ring with a chair and put Roman in a situation and know, you know, when Seth said to Cody, I am in a unique position to be your shield, because he knows Roman isn't going to be able to help himself. He knows that if he can get in the ring with a chair and have that chair in Roman's hand and Roman looks at who to hit, he's going to choose Seth. And Seth is going to take that bullet. He's going to absorb the chair shot because he knows that's going to be Roman's downfall. And I don't think we were quite catching that last night as it was happening, you know, because I mean, Roman did do the chair to the back, just like Seth did when he turned heel and left the Shield. But I think for me, it was the Undertaker thing that was throwing me off, because I was still expecting to see Austin. So to me, as we're watching it, it's not registering to me that we're about to see the finish here. I'm still thinking The Rock is going to come back in after this, and then Austin's going to come out and take out The Rock, and then Cody's going to win. So it wasn't registering until Cody was in like crossroads number 2 on Roman. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is it. That's what they were doing. You know, Seth Rollins did exactly what he promised he was going to do. And I had expected Cody Rhodes to come out tonight and offer a huge thank you to Seth Rollins. One could argue without Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes wouldn't be world champion right now. So I'm just wondering if the next time we see Seth Rollins, if he might make mention to, hey, never even said thanks. I lost my championship for you, man. I mean, but granted, Cody thanked him after the match. He shook his hand. There was some love there, so maybe it wasn't necessary. And like I said, Cody didn't thank Taker or Cena either. But I feel like Cody, what he has been through, his character over the past couple of months, why would you not shout out Seth Rollins? Unless I missed it. Did he say something about Seth Rollins and I just didn't write it down or didn't hear it? But it felt like to me, he didn't thank Seth Rollins at all. And I think he should have. So Cody, you better send Rollins a hickory hams basket or whatever, or hook him up with something, because he played a big role in you being champion. So right after Cody shows the footage of his daughter, out comes The Rock. We get The Rock's music. The Rock was not advertised or anything for the show. I have been speculating that, you know, Rock and Cody, everything that they set up at WrestleMania, Rock pinning Cody on night 1, which is what I predicted would happen. I said, Rock needs to pin Cody on night 1 because that gives you more story after the fact. And with the bad blood with Cody and The Rock, there was no way that's just going to be over now at WrestleMania. I still expect these two guys to have a match at some point. I don't know when. I kind of had it pegged for SummerSlam. I would love to see Punk Drew, Seth Roman, and Rock Cody all at SummerSlam. That would be incredible. We might actually get that, but we don't know. Rock comes out. He's carrying that fucking belt. He's booed heavily. I hate that. That belt is so annoying. I think that's the point. That's the point of him carrying it around, is to be annoying. And he's booed very loudly by the Raw After Mania crowd, and he insults the Philly crowd. He did say something cool. He goes, The Rock is a lot of things, but sucks isn't one of them, which is the line he said when he turned heel and joined the Nation of Domination. That's a 28-year-old reference or something like that, which is fucking great. And he goes on to say that Philly broke the record for the largest gathering of trailer park trash and tells them all to shut the fuck up. So the editing guy, you know, had his finger on the bleep button over and over, but Rock actually said, shut the fuck up. They might be moving into a TV 14 setting too. And don't forget, this year, Raw is going to Netflix. They're going to be able to say anything they want on Netflix. So I think that's going to be interesting when they get to Netflix later on this year. So Rock, curses out the crowd and whatnot. And he says that he's out there to give Cody Rhodes his flowers. He said, you beat the tribal chief. You beat Roman Reigns. and you're the world champion. He said his mom and dad are proud of you, and your dad would be proud. And he talked about the history between Dusty and Rocky Johnson. And then it got awkward, got randomly awkward here. Rock asks Cody if he can hold his belt. You know, that's a beautiful belt you got there. Would it be all right if The Rock held it? Would it be all right if The Rock held your undisputed universal title? And I'm like, okay. And then Cody's like, okay, but only if I can hold yours. You can hold mine if I can hold yours. Are they going to go in the back to the bathroom together and cross streams? Just waiting for them to do that. So they do this like belt swapping thing. And I think it's just for the visual. You know, Rock holding the undisputed title. And he goes, He said something like, I'm not going to lie, that felt really good. And this is a guy that pinned the current world heavyweight champion on Saturday. So they do a weird belt swap. They each hold each other's belts, which is so weird. And then, but Rock says, you know, it just feels right. Something about this just feels right, is what he said. So they give both of the belts back to each other, and they've got their own belts back. And this is when The Rock confirms what we suspected. And he says, The Rock has got to go away for a little while. He got a promo like this after he beat Goldberg in 2003. The Rock's got to go away for a little while. But don't worry, I'll be back. Unfortunately, he really never did come back. Just once or twice. So same thing here. Rock has got, you know, he's got to go back to Hollywood or do whatever he's got to do. We kind of were prepared for that was likely going to be a possibility. And he goes, The Rock has got to go away for a little while, but when he comes back, he's coming for you. He goes, whether you're champion or whether you're not champion, The Rock is coming for you. So I think Cody is going to be champion. I was thinking that maybe Rock would lay down a challenge. You don't come into my dojo, drop a challenge, and leave, old man. But I thought he was going to do that. I thought he was going to drop a challenge, but then that would have been weird. You can't challenge Cody to I was originally thinking that, oh man, Rock should challenge Cody to a title match at SummerSlam right now. But then that gives away the outcome to all of Cody's title shots between then. You know, if that match is already on the calendar for the title, what's the point of having Cody even defend the title between now and then? You know? So The Rock was smart to say, whether you're the champion or not, I'm coming for you. And I expect when The Rock comes for him, he's going to have some cocktail. Fruit. But when he comes for him, Cody is going to be the champion. And that would be great if it was at SummerSlam. That would be great if it was even Survivor Series. Crown Jewel wouldn't surprise me. And the fact that they kind of like laid the groundwork for that. And you think about at the WrestleMania presser, we didn't talk about either night of the WrestleMania press conferences, but Triple H did say that Roman Reigns is going to start a brand new story. And I'm glad. Roman Reigns, I think, is going to go babyface. I think when Roman and The Rock happen, Roman's going to be the babyface and he's going to beat The Rock. That's what I think. You know, and I also think, I'm worried, guys. The longer they wait to do Cody and Rock, the longer in the year it gets. If Cody and Rock battle at SummerSlam, then I think Cody's just going to fucking beat him. If they battle at the Royal Rumble, I think Rock's going to win the championship and drop the championship to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But Rock pinning Cody, Rock humiliating Cody, threatening his mom, dragging his family's name through the mud. When these guys face, I hope Rock does for Cody what Brock did for Cody, what Roman did for Cody, what Seth did for Cody, what everybody's done for fucking Cody. Lose to him. You know, but you have to wonder too, if Rock loses here, how would that affect his match with Roman Reigns? You know, what I would do is I would have Roman Reigns play a role in Rock losing to Cody. That way, Rock has an excuse and he can focus then his energy on Roman Reigns, and then they can battle for, you know, family, bragging rights, tribal chief, final boss, supremacy, whatever the fuck. So they can do that. So having maybe Roman be a part of the finish, maybe even like helping Cody beat The Rock, would be super interesting and very fun, and it would keep the title on Cody. So I think it would be awesome if they did that like at SummerSlam, but it just depends on what their long-term plans are. I feel a lot more comfortable these days with Triple H being there as opposed to Vince, because I think long-term plans, you know, can be made. You know, they might have an idea of how to get through the whole rest of the year with Rock and stuff. So if they have a plan, you know, if they have a path, in place for WrestleMania 41 and how to get there, I hope that all starts here, and it sounds like Roman Reigns and Cody are both going to have a match with The Rock within the next 365 days. And that's pretty cool. So Rock says he's coming for Cody when he comes back. Cody says that he's looking forward to it. And Rock says, our story has just begun. And then Cody says, you talk about being the boss, you be the final boss, the TKO board member. You are quite literally my boss, which means I'm your champion. And then Rock, kind of agrees, and he goes, okay, I'm gonna leave, but I'm gonna leave you with one thing first. And I just want to tell you one thing. And he reaches in his pocket and he pulls something out. You can't see it. He's got his hand in a fist, and he puts it in Cody Rhodes' hand. He goes, you already know what this is. You don't have to look at it to know what it is. Or he goes, you don't even have to open your hand. He goes, you don't have to open your hand to know what it is. And he tells Cody to never break his heart again. And that was it. So that was kind of cool, because what was that? What is in his hand? What was he giving Cody Rhodes? We had that secret a couple weeks ago where he just talked to Cody Rhodes and he goes, I'm going to make you bleed. So Cody was given this by The Rock, and we talked about it earlier. It could be anything. It might be some tribal heirloom or some piece of Roman's necklace or something like that, but Rock implied that Cody knows what it is. So I think there's something here that the audience hasn't been told yet, some sort of behind the scenes thing in kayfabe with Rock and Cody that we haven't been made aware of yet, that maybe we will be made aware of after the fact, or maybe Cody will let us in on it. Cody knows Rock gave him something. So what's Cody going to tell us next time he's in the ring on the mic? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't tell you what that is. It's between me and The Rock. Maybe. But whatever it was, I'm wondering how significant it could really be to the story. I'm wondering, whatever it was, did it have something to do with The Rock not facing Roman Reigns like they kind of teased originally? I mentioned, was it a gentleman's agreement? Was it a bet? Was it something that Rock owed to Cody? Or is it a message to Cody? And when he said, don't ever break my heart again, what did he mean? Did he say, don't ever break my heart again? Don't ever take away my match again? Or does he mean, don't beat another member of my family again? I don't know. So that, I do like that they kind of left you with some uncertainty there, left you with a little bit of a cliffhanger or a what if or what is that. So I do like that. So I don't know if they're going to reveal anything, if Cody's going to reveal anything on TV, or if this is something that they're not going to talk about again until we get Rock and Cody Rhodes back in the ring together. So we will see. And now Cody Rhodes, I'm assuming, is going to have to head to SmackDown to maybe, set up his first opponent, because the main event tonight was a number one contenders match for the World Heavyweight Championship, for Priest's belt, not for Cody's belt. So Cody, I guess, is going to have to probably go to SmackDown on Friday, and we will see if he stays there or not. But, I might have given Cody an easy first opponent. I might have had Jimmy beat Jey Uso at WrestleMania, and then Cody just faces Jimmy and beats him in his first title defense or something. So who knows what he's going to do, if it's going to be bloodline related or if it's going to be completely unrelated to anything at all with the bloodline. And Cody just has a brand new opponent. You got Kevin Owens over there. You got Randy Orton over there. You could even do Cody and Logan Paul if you wanted. So we will see what they're going to do with Cody. Let me know if you guys have any ideas. Have you sniffed anything out in terms of what they might be doing or what they plan on doing? Because I sure as shit don't know. I'm going to need y'all's help for that. Thanks, Dave. I love it when people get my references. Not everybody does. All right. So that was the end of the Cody Triple H Rock segment. I believe it went to about 51 past the hour. So damn near an hour of that opening promo. And some fans found a reason to complain about that. Not me. It's the Raw after Mania. There is no rules. There are no rules. I don't know why you guys follow rules anyway. There's no rule that says you have to have this many minutes of wrestling or this many women's matches or this many this matches. It doesn't fucking matter, man. It's just wrestling. Just fucking go with it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. And especially the Raw after WrestleMania, I don't give a shit if they want to have an hour-long talking segment. Raw's too long anyway. So whatevs, man. It's fine. I mean, if anything, if any Raw or TV show would warrant that much promo time, it would be a show like this that is the beginning of your next era, your next group of stories, your next year of content, is starting here and you need to lay the groundwork for a lot of these stories. So that's what they did here. You know, Rock definitely took his time. Some people on social media were saying they were getting bored with it. Rock does take forever to say nothing. I 100% agree with that. He does that all the time, and it's fucking annoying. But, you know, in this case, I was okay with it because it was Cody, it was Rock. That was a big deal to me. And I really, you know, at the end of the day, had no issue with how long they went. Now, Rock might have gone long, you know, and people were speculating that Jade Cargill and Chelsea Green got bumped, but they didn't get bumped. They just got moved to a later part in the show. And I think every match was able to get done without any problems. So if The Rock went over, it sounds like he probably only went over by about 10 minutes, which is really not that horrible. We had some, I don't know if these are NXT call-ups or what, but we had two NXT champions on the show tonight, Ilya Dragunov and Roxanne Perez. Dragunov took on Nakamura and beat him clean. Shinsuke Nakamura beat clean by Ilya Dragunov. On paper, that's a sexy-ass matchup. Dragunov is ridiculous. He is just, you know, I've seen plenty of his matches because I knew of him before I kind of stopped watching NXT. You know, so, I mean, I saw the Gunther matches and what he was doing in UK and stuff, but man, he is just, that boy's stiff. God, I don't know if he's going to, you know, be here permanently on the roster or not, or what, you know, or if it's just like kind of an appearance for him and he might turn up occasionally the way Carmelo Hayes did and Braun Breaker did at first. I don't know. We didn't see Braun Breaker all weekend, by the way. He wasn't in that Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I didn't see him anywhere near the Hall of Fame. He didn't pop up at WrestleMania in any sort of a run-in. He wasn't on Raw tonight. I don't know what the fuck's going on with Braun Breaker. Is he in trouble? I don't know. But he is, you know, still NXT Tag Champ there, I think. So anyway, Dragunov was on the show. He beat Nakamura. Good stuff there. Then it was time for a Judgment Day promo. And of course, even though Cody had a great night to close the show last night, Damian Priest had a great night opening the show, winning and cashing in successfully his Money in the Bank contract, becoming the new World Heavyweight Champion after CM Punk had enough of the trolling of Drew McIntyre and took him out, setting up Damian Priest for the perfect opportunity to win the championship. So you have all the losers of Judgment Day in the ring, Dom, you know, the guy from Game of Thrones, and Finn Balor in the ring, and they introduce Mommy first, who we also have to show love to. Rhea Ripley in the opening match of night one defeated Becky Lynch to retain her World Heavyweight title. So no Becky or Seth Rollins on the show tonight. They are both licking their wounds, I'm sure. So Rhea came out there, of course, looking like $1 trillion, like only she can do. And then they introduced the new World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest, who had a new theme. He's got a new theme song. I was too busy and distracted to really listen to it, but it sounded okay. And Priest has got a new theme, which is great. He looks good with the belt. We talked about that too. WrestleMania weekend on night one, you know, that tag match was like, I think, the second match. So Damian Priest, I was saying it right from the beginning. I'm like, he got his business over with early. And he's got 2 nights of WrestleMania to sit there and watch 2 world champions have 2 matches. So that's 4 opportunities. So he's got a lot of opportunities there to be world champion. He's going to be a fucking idiot if he doesn't attempt to cash in. But I was feeling pretty good about it when I saw them in the tag match because he got his hair did. He got all new hair, new braids, all fancy colors. And usually, you know, that's some sort of an indication that you want to look your best when you win the world championship. So I was feeling pretty good. When I saw Priest, you know, have, you know, kind of a new, he took extra special care to make himself look good. That was a clue to me that he would be winning the title. So he came out. He's got the championship. Him and Rhea look awesome. And he stands there in the middle of Judgment Day as they hold up their championships. And then R-Truth, and I knew this was going to happen. R-Truth shows up right in the middle, holding up his new Raw Tag Team title. And then Rhea and Priest are like, what the fuck are you doing here? And then the Priest is like, damn it, we're not doing this. We're fucking not doing this. And I said that when Truth and Miz won the titles in the ladder match, I'm like, what's going to happen is Truth is going to think he's tag team champions with Judgment Day. And that's kind of what happened here, you know, and he's like, I won the belts for us. And he wants to maybe add the Miz to the team, I think, right? He's pitching, adding a new member to the faction that he's not a part of and wants the Miz to join. And that's when JD McDonough just gets pissed and he wants to fight. And Truth says, well, we can't fight y'all. There's only 3 of us. And they're looking at like, 3 of you? And he goes, yeah, And he goes, I'll tell you what, why don't we have R-Truth then proposes a 6-man? He goes, it's going to be JD and Dom and Finn against me and The Miz and the guy you can't see. And that was pretty obvious. Now, I was already aware of the John Cena thing. I read the spoilers from Fightful Select. They had some raw notes up and what was planned. And John Cena was planned for a 6-man with R-Truth and The Miz. So I did love that because the boyhood dream has come true. I'm so happy for not only Cody and him finishing his story, but for R-Truth, who got to wrestle alongside his childhood idol. Now I know what Edge must have felt like when he got to wrestle with Hulk Hogan, so that's a big night for R-Truth. I was very happy that he got to wrestle with Cena. And so much for Cena being booked in movies and can't be physical. Not only was he physical last night, hitting Roman Reigns with an AA and then eating a rock bottom from The Rock, he was in a 6-man tag here on Monday Night Raw. And John Cena did some media. What was it? Was it I think it was the Pat McAfee show. Did they do like a super late night Pat McAfee show last night? I saw Cody on that. It was either early morning or super wicked late night last night. Like we're talking 2 a.m. or something, whenever this thing must have aired. But Cody, and I saw John Cena, a clip of him saying the same thing, where once he's done with his current batch of Hollywood bullshit, then maybe he can come back and have a farewell run. And I would love to see that. He's got to do something about the hair. That hair, that cannot be happening. You got to stop with the hair. So get completely contractually free from movies so you don't have to have your hair a certain length and you can just do what Greg does. Something has to be happening there because John Cena, we can't see him, but we can see that bald spot. That's for sure. So let's just get rid of that, Cena. Your hair looks terrible. I mean, he looked so outmatched by The Rock. Back 12 years ago when these guys were wrestling at WrestleMania 28, I thought Cena was in slightly better shape. I thought Cena was stronger than The Rock. I said, if these two guys have a weightlifting competition, John Cena will beat him. He's stronger than The Rock. Rock has the athleticism. Strength goes to Cena. I'm not so sure now, man. Rock just shadowed Cena so much in that face-off last night. I mean, he looked bigger, more swole. John Cena's just kind of old-looking, weird Crispin Glover hair. He's pale. He's still jacked, but, he's getting older. John Cena's my age, and, he doesn't look like he did in 2006. It just looks different. So if Cena comes back for a farewell run, I think that's something that absolutely his character needs, his legacy needs. He needs to have that come back, do something maybe similar to what The Rock is doing, get in there, take it seriously, and have a farewell run and, call it a career and then just go back to movies full time, or maybe come back years later, do an occasional WrestleMania match when you're 51. John Cena could always do that, but I do like that at least it's on his radar to have a farewell run. I don't think John Cena and somebody like John Cena can really have a career that he has had without having some sort of a run like that. And I've been saying for years that he's going to win a world championship again. I'm not even so sure. If he comes back for a farewell run and he's in it there, then I can definitely see that happening. But in terms of, him breaking the Flair record or whatever, I wasn't sure. I thought he'd win 3 more championships. John Cena never even won the Universal title, and that belt doesn't even exist now. I was saying a couple years ago, whenever John Cena wins another world title, it's probably going to be the Universal because he's never held it. But now it doesn't even exist. So Cena, farewell run, maybe in 2025, would love it. Retirement at WrestleMania 42, I would love it. But retirement, John Cena's too young to officially retire. So even if he retires, I'm not even convinced that it will be a real one. Because who retires for real? Needless to say, the babyfaces got the win here. We got a 3-man AA to all members of the Judgment Day. Dominic came very close to landing on top of John Cena. That could have been disastrous. Miz almost botched that and hurt John Cena. But seeing the Miz and John Cena, who have had their rivalry and their issue and their WrestleMania matches, along with R-Truth, was just a fun visual, just a fun thing. Nothing serious, nothing crazy. To me, that was just fun. If you want something to stick a smile on your face, that match ought to do it. So a Cena appearance tonight was a fun little treat. And then after that, we go to commercial. I think we come back. We are backstage. Dominic and Rhea are talking. This was great. So Dominic and Rhea are talking, and Dom's like, man, I didn't know John Cena was going to be here. Shit. And Rhea's like, I don't know. It's all right. She goes, you need to worry about Andrade. You need to make that right. So Dom is going to go talk to, he goes, okay, I'm going to go talk to Pierce, seemingly about Andrade. And as soon as Dom walks away from Rhea, a chair just comes flying into frame and whacks Rhea right upside the head. The chair was thrown from about 8 feet away by Liv Morgan. Camera pans over to her, and then she attacks Rhea Ripley, and they're brawling in the little hallway there, and there's a pull-up part, and then the camera just continues to shoot right out into the arena. Just a beautiful, beautiful transition. These production, techniques and these production changes that we've been seeing since, Kevin Dunn took him and his teeth out of WWE has been such a welcome change. It feels fresh, so many years. I almost get, in a weird way, it can kind of make you frustrated, because we dealt with such formulaic nonsense for so many years, when they could have been doing this years ago. The technology existed to do the production things they're doing, but they weren't doing them because everything, Kevin Dunn and Vince McMahon just had their template and they never deviated from that. And it was just crazy. And as a fan, I found myself being programmed to the point where I could watch a Raw with my eyes closed. It's just very, very much the same every week. It was just so annoying. Just the graphics, the camera angles, the shots, everybody, the way they stand next to the monitor and watch the match in the back. It's like that same shot, that same camera angle. It's never changed up. It's never new. It's never fresh. They never do anything fun. It's always like, yeah, this is it. So seeing all these little things, lately on TV has been a really welcome change. I've been loving it. So then we get a one-on-one match between Indy Hartwell and Roxanne Perez. So Roxanne and Dragunov both got booked tonight on Raw. Elizabeth happened to be walking through when this match was happening, and she looked at Roxanne and she goes, she's sassy. Like, who's this girl? I'm like, she is sassy. I like Roxanne. They did talk, Michael Cole brought up the history from last year, which of course I don't remember. I barely watch NXT, but I guess last year Roxanne had to forfeit the title. And then Indy won it, I think, right? And then Indy lost it. And I don't know, some history there. And Roxanne was able to get revenge, I guess, on Indy here and beat Indy Hartwell. And we'll see if Roxanne continues to be on main roster TV or not in the future. Then we get Sami Zayn backstage. He exchanges pleasantries with his friend Jey Uso, who's very proud of him. So Sami's got the title. He's heading out to the ring for a promo. And then we see Roxanne and Natalya and her friends that she had with her that were very visible. You know who I'm talking about. And Natty says to Roxanne, like, see you tomorrow. So I guess Natalya is going to go to NXT, and perhaps the two are going to have a match. Did Natalya ever win the NXT title? I don't think she did. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Natalya, she's not Rhea Ripley. She's not Bianca. I don't know if she's going to have any realistic world championship aspirations on the main roster anymore unless they give her a sympathy run. But in NXT, that would be perfect. Natty winning the NXT title, I would like that for her. She was always second fiddle to Charlotte and stuff, when she was in NXT a little bit, having those matches with her and whatnot. And I feel like, maybe winning that title could be fun for Natalya and her friends. After that, it was Sami Zayn coming out to cut a promo. Sami Zayn's in the ring, brand new Intercontinental Champion. Huge win on night one of WrestleMania, beating Gunther with his old El Generico brainbuster into the Helluva Kick. Fun stuff. And he's celebrating. Fans chant, "You deserve it." He's got the, I forget his wife's name, whatever her name is. Whatever her name is, I did it. I forgot what her name is. Is it Khalil? I forgot what it was. Anyway, that was nice. And like I said, Sami Zayn's WrestleMania entrance, I think, might go down as one of my favorite of all time because of the fact that it cost $0. He talked to his little adorable little fucking son. My God, the way, can I still hear your song, Daddy? That's a cute little kid. He got his wife. He kissed her. He starts walking. He gets the encouragement from his coach, Chad Gable. Then they follow him all the way through, steady cam shot all the way to Kevin Owens, where he's waiting for him to give him that final little attaboy. Go out there, take care of business. Loved it. Then he wins the title. And here he is celebrating in the ring. And of course, he is interrupted by Kaiser Permanente and Leonardo da Vinci. So Imperium's out there. They come out, and Ludwig says, General, and all that. Fuck, that guy drives me nuts. And we get the two of them. I think there's like a, they threaten Sami. There might be a beatdown, and then Chad Gable comes out to make the save, and we go to commercial, and it's going to be a tag team match. So it's going to be Sami, Zayn, Chad Gable versus Imperium. But after the commercial break, before we go to the match, WWE ran a vignette for Sheamus. So Sheamus is coming back. There's been a lot of talk about him maybe going to AEW. He has not been shy about vocalizing maybe his frustrations with the amount of time and top spots that Roman Reigns is currently occupying. And we've been speculating that maybe he goes and joins Edge in AEW. But sounds like he is on his way back, the Celtic Warrior. That's good. I've missed Sheamus. Hopefully he's healthy and good to go, and can have a run that doesn't frustrate him this time, you know? I had him pegged, maybe a year ago to win the IC title from Gunther, but, that never came to be. We'll see what they do with Sheamus when he gets back. He has never won the Intercontinental title still to this day, I don't believe, so maybe that's something he can do when he comes back. And it was a vignette on Raw. Doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be on Raw, but I don't even know what fucking brand was he on anyway? I think he was on SmackDown, right? Was he on SmackDown? I don't even remember. I don't even know where Sheamus was, to be honest. So whatever brand he's going to be on, he's on his way back. That's good. So we then get to the tag match. Sami Zayn, Chad Gable defeated Imperium. Sami Zayn basically lets and allows Chad Gable to get the 3 count and earn the victory for the team. And then backstage, I love this. Backstage, Gable was like, Sami, at WrestleMania, I mentioned, you owing me a favor. And Sammy's like, yeah, man. That's why I let you pick up the win there. I figure we're pretty much straight after that. And I'm like, is Sami really serious? And Gable's like, I don't think so. And Sammy's like, I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm just joking. I'm just joking you. Of course, I know what the favor is. You want a shot of this. That's what I said. I knew Sami Zayn was winning the Intercontinental title for sure when Chad Gable backstage during his entrance said, you owe me a favor. Like, that's it. Because up until that point, I thought Gable might be out there and cost Sami the match and turn on him or something. And as soon as Gable was like, you owe me a favor, I'm like, done deal. Because that favor is going to be a title shot. And that's exactly what it turns out to be. And Sami Zayn said, yes, anytime you want a shot at this, you've got it. And I think he mentions next week. So that match is booked for next week. Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental title against Chad Gable. So that match is already booked. And I forgot what the other match, they announced another one for next week too, and now I've forgotten it because I didn't write it down like an asshole. It'll come to me. But Gable and Sami for the championship next week. Not sure how that one's going to go. I can't see Sami dropping the title right after beating and ending the longest running Intercontinental title run of all time, 666 days. Sami Zayn even gave Gunther props in the promo. Be weird for him to drop it here. So I think it could be the beginning of, what might be, hopefully, maybe a lengthy program between him and Chad Gable. We will see. After that is where they squoze in the Jade Cargill, Chelsea Green match that a lot of fans thought might get bumped. But they could fit this one in. We knew it was going to be short. Well, you think this is going to be a 10-minute classic here? No, this is going to be a squash. Chelsea Green's going to get fucking killed. Now, if you're just battling on pure hotness, then maybe it would be a little closer of a battle. But, Jade is going to kill Chelsea. And she did. She picked her right up, hit her with her finisher, and a fucking hand lick, the whole deal. Jade looked great. Chelsea looked great. The match was short, sweet, and sexy. But in the end, it was Jade winning. But also, I think that WWE just put her out there just to get her a match in a Raw ring in case they need B-roll footage or something, Like that's the only point, because they made a huge deal about her signing with SmackDown. So why the fuck? And I know that like Raw after Mania, there's kind of no rules there. Cody technically is a SmackDown star and he opened the show. Same with The Rock and that type of thing. But I still think that having a match on Raw with Jade, you didn't really need it, but I guess she's new. You just got to, she's new, she's here, and they want to showcase her. So they weren't going to wait until Friday. They had her a match on Raw. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Not something I'm mad about. I don't give a shit. It's just, she's a SmackDown person. Made a big deal about that. Signed the SmackDown contract. Wouldn't Nick Aldis wouldn't Nick Aldis's character be annoyed that she worked our match on Raw? Hey, why'd you work a match on Raw? You could have gotten injured. You're under contract exclusively to SmackDown. If you would have gotten injured on Raw, you would have been in breach of contract. Wouldn't he be mad at her or something like that? Or like, hey, next time check with me first before you go book yourself in matches on Raw. I don't know how it all works, but to me it was weird. So Jade beat Chelsea Green. And that left us with the main event. Just a four-way match. Jey Uso, Bronson Reed, Drew McIntyre, Ricochet. Winner becomes the new number one contender to the World Heavyweight Championship. Not Cody's belt, but Damian Priest's belt. So Drew McIntyre came out first, and he just power walked to the ring, pissed off, which we knew he would be. Goes right to the ring, gets on the mic, cuts a scathing promo on CM Punk, and he's mad. Oh, you fans think it's all funny, huh? And he basically threatens Punk. He goes, when I see you, it's going to be, full court press. I'm going to come after your weakest points, which is your whole body, because it can't hold up. Mark my words. I am going to target you. I am coming after you, and I will severely damage your body when I see you, type of thing. So he's mad. He keeps talking. And then Jey Uso winds up coming out and just interrupts. So he was out next, I think, followed by Bronson Reed. And it should be worth noting here also with Bronson Reed, earlier in the night, he cut a promo hyping up the main event match. During his promo, we kind of saw like a glitch, like a test pattern screen come up. And I think in the bottom corner, it said hello. Got some White Rabbit vibes here. And we did see at the end of the Becoming Immortal Bray Wyatt documentary, Bo Dallas teasing that he wants to create something that his brother would be proud of and, maybe carry on that legacy. And they kind of gave you a teasing at the end of that he could be coming back as a character. He's been under contract to the company since 2022. He was the person portraying Uncle Howdy before Bray Wyatt got pulled off TV due to illness. So it sounds like, and if I had to guess, whatever this is Bo Dallas related, is maybe Uncle Howdy related. And I don't know if it's going to be Uncle Howdy or what, but I'm kind of intrigued by it because, one of the things that WWE, Triple H, and some other people that work with Bray Wyatt were brutally honest about in that documentary is how Bray Wyatt was almost too creative for his own good. He was almost too meticulous, too creative. Triple H says, he'd have a ton of fucking ideas, but then you're like, well, how do we translate that into the ring? This would be great for a movie or a TV show, but what happens when the bell rings? And that was always a big problem for Bray. I think that's what led to some of WWE's frustrations. I think that's what led to WWE releasing him was, cutting their law. He's a fucking pain in the ass to work with anyway. Let's just move away from him, and then they wound up bringing him back. And of course, unfortunately, it was just, he only was back for a couple of months and the heart thing happened. And, and of course, he passed away last August. With Bo Dallas, I feel like, you want to be creatively free, but at the same time, having a little bit of restraint on you might actually help the character because we were all happy to see Bray Wyatt come back. The White Rabbit stuff was great. The Uncle Howdy stuff was intriguing, but they just took too long to get to it. I started not caring about Uncle Howdy once it was like 6 weeks of Uncle Howdy. It's like, okay, well, eventually you have to do something. Right now, you're not doing anything. You're not giving us any clues. You're not showing us elements of the story that is hooking me to where I just can't get enough of it. And because I think it was moving too slow or something. Something was just off about it. I hated the Mountain Dew fuckboy match at the Royal Rumble. I thought that was insanely stupid. And just Bray Wyatt had a lot of just, whether it was his fault or WWE's creative fault, all the shit they did with the Fiend and the dumb ideas there and all of that stuff, it just seemed like they could never find their footing, something that would really, really work. And I'm hoping and I'm praying and I'm just really crossing my fingers that whatever this is, when Bo Dallas comes back, if it has anything to do with what we saw in the Bronson Reed promo or not, but whenever he comes back and does whatever he does with whatever character he has, I just hope that it does the legacy of Bray Wyatt proud. I hope it's good. And honestly, I hope it eclipses whatever Bray Wyatt did. I mean, I can't think of a better tribute, to Bray Wyatt and Wyndham Rotunda than his brother, doing, a lot what Charlotte did for her brother. The whole reason she became a wrestler was to finish his dream. Maybe Bo Dallas can have a little bit of that, and unlike Reed, he never really even got into wrestling, never really even got his foot in the door, really. Bray Wyatt was a world champion. So Bo Dallas, taking the reins there and trying to do the name of Bray Wyatt right and preserve its legacy. I'm excited about it. So hopefully, maybe what we saw here with Bronson Reed was part of that. And my biggest concern is if Bo Dallas is going to have a character that's going to have some sort of a tribute or a connection or something to Bray Wyatt, I really want it to not suck. So anyway, that should be mentioned about the Fatal 4-Way in the Bronson promo earlier. So everybody's in the ring now. McIntyre, Ricochet, Bronson, Jey Uso, main event Jey is in there. And, they're brawling everywhere. Typical 4-way match that you would see. Spot of the night has to go to Ricochet, who 450 splashes Bronson Reed on the table. So it was a Shane McMahon table spot. You know how Shane likes to put somebody on the table and then jump from the turnbuckle. But Shane usually just goes elbow. He doesn't go 450. Ricochet, 450s from the top rope to the table to the floor. Insane bump. I'm glad he survived. He definitely looked hurt, but he survived. And then once they're taken out, Ricochet landing on Bronson Reed, they're both taken out. So there's no Bronson, there's no Ricochet. They're done. Jey Uso is down in the ring. McIntyre's in the corner, just measuring Jey for a Claymore. And then out comes Phil from under the ring, grabs a hold of McIntyre's leg, and he can't get to the Claymore, allowing Jey Uso to nail McIntyre, go to the top, hit the frog splash, and win, and become the new number one contender to Damian Priest Championship. Early prediction, maybe Jimmy cost Jey the match, and you do a stipulation match between the two brothers or something like that at the next pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell or cage match or last Oos standing, who knows, something like that maybe they could do. But Jey got the win, and he's the new number one contender now, and I think that's awesome because McIntyre, this is just going to fuel his anger even more. Punk is literally laughing, like cracking up, and I just love that. That's karma. That is karma. That's exactly what the story was telling you should happen with Drew just viciously and mercilessly trolling CM Punk. You knew, he was going to get what was coming to him. And not only did he get some at WrestleMania, Punk got him some more of Drew here tonight, and it was marvelous. So I loved it. Like I said, and like you guys have been saying, not like the greatest Raw after Mania of all time, not a Raw after Mania we're going to be telling our grandkids about or anything like that, but a fuck ton better than last year, especially with everything that we knew about what was going on behind the scenes. This seems to be, this was maybe a little bit tame, but shit, we got some surprises and we got some, I guess, call-ups. And at the end of the day, what can you really ask for? We had Jade Cargill having, I think, her first match on Raw. John Cena, The Rock, and CM Punk all showed up unannounced. That wasn't bad. Cody got the big, promo in the beginning. We had a little bit of a cliffhanger there with Rock and Cody, implying to the fans that we can pretty much put that on our bingo card. We are going to get a Rock versus Cody Rhodes match. We don't know when yet, but we know we're going to get it. And when we do, there's something going on there. Rock gave Cody Rhodes something. He put something in Cody Rhodes' hand. Well, what was that? What the hell could it possibly be? And what's its significance? What does it mean? And, what is Rock and Roman Reigns' plan going to be? Rock, I was expecting when he came out for him to throw some passive-aggressive shade at Roman Reigns. Maybe whatever's going to happen between Rock and Roman and their split has to do with whatever Roman or whatever Rock put in Cody's hand. That's possible, but I was expecting Rock to say some shit. The Rock beat you on Saturday, something his cousin couldn't get done on Sunday. He didn't say anything like that. He did reference beating Cody, and he held the title, so this feels damn good. And I do worry that The Rock could do to Cody what Rock did to CM Punk in 2013 or whatever. And then Roman will be in the role of Cena. But we have to remember, this ain't your daddy's WWE. This ain't Vince's WWE. Vince McMahon and that regime might do something as predictable as that. I'm not sure if Triple H and The Rock and company will. So you could see Rock beating Cody, then Roman winning the Rumble, and then facing Rock at WrestleMania 41 for the championship. And now we're right back to that again. It's the same match we thought we might for a brief time get this year, Rock versus Roman Reigns for the title, but this time Rock is going to be the champion. That's possible. Roman Reigns could win the championship in the main event of WrestleMania 41. Yet another main event for Roman Reigns, this time winning a title again, and then Cody could be in the Bianca Belair position next year. He could not be in any title picture because he just had a long run and he just dropped the title, so it's not like he's going to have a title match. So they might just put him with two other huge baby faces. Maybe two new signings from AEW or something, and the three of them have a match beating up, a faction. Who knows? Who knows where we could be? But hopefully Cody's star power will not diminish. Hopefully this will not be his peak and it's all downhill from here. Hopefully he wins more titles and, creates an even larger legacy for himself. I'm hoping he does. So that was a lot, man. That was a long weekend. A lot to take in tonight. A lot to consider for the future. And I think the future looks pretty good if you're a WWE fan, which I am. And I think that they're setting us up for a pretty fun summer. We usually have a WrestleMania lull, but I still feel like there's plenty to really watch here, and it's still plenty intriguing. And I'm curious, what the reports are going to say about The Rock taking time off, how long this might be, what we know about his film schedule, what he might be doing. I mean, he might be back by SummerSlam. This might be a few months, or he's gone all year and he resurfaces in the beginning of the year to book WrestleMania again. We're not sure yet, so we'll keep our eye on that. Let me cruise back to the chat and see what you guys have to say. I think I got a super here from Zayn G. Oh yeah, Zayn G. Thanks for the $10. Did you ever find my super chat from last night that was lost? No. Anyways, when Undertaker faced off with The Rock last night, I was thinking SummerSlam 2024. No, Undertaker's not wrestling again. And that's another thing we talked about last night that we didn't talk about tonight, is that I'm pretty convinced that that spot was probably intended for Stone Cold Steve Austin, and for whatever reason, they couldn't work out a deal. I don't know what's going on there. That's kind of shocking to me. Austin just worked 2 years ago. Does Austin have do you think Austin has like maybe a loyalty to Vince McMahon or something? Or, that might be one influence Vince has, hitting up all of the people that, he helped make that he considers loyal to him, says, don't go work WrestleMania. Mad. Did Austin say no because of that? I speculated that maybe Austin wants to preserve, maybe the WrestleMania 19 match between Austin and Rock is sacred to him. I would accept that as a reason. If Austin's like, look, I appreciate the offer, but that final match with The Rock was important to me, and I want that to be the last time Rock and I are ever physical in the ring. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it was money. Certainly didn't appear to be scheduling, because I think Austin was tweeting pictures with him and his cat during WrestleMania. So it's not like he couldn't be there. He wasn't filming anything, went overseas, wasn't scuba diving. He wasn't doing anything. So why couldn't they work that out? Did he have some crazy asking price for that would somehow be too much? And, oh, sorry, we can't do that, Austin. I would have much preferred Cena and Austin over Taker and Cena, So when Taker chokeslammed The Rock, and that was enough, Rock did not come back from that. I wonder if it was supposed to be a stunner. Maybe Rock, maybe Austin was worried about being able to hit a proper stunner, or Rock even worried about taking it or selling it. But as a fan, I would have preferred Austin over Undertaker in that situation. But Undertaker was fine. It was still cool to see him come out briefly in the gong and all that, but that can't set up a match. Undertaker, I believe, is done. I cannot see him getting back in the ring. I think that would be insane. I think him doing what he did last night was crazy enough. I had to repeat it twice in the review. I said, The Rock got chokeslammed by The Undertaker at WrestleMania 40. That's just a wild sentence to say, that I would have never expected a year ago, much less 10 years ago even. So crazy. But Zane, I will look for that super chat, man. But I went through all of them. I have my master list there, and you said it was a $5 and you said what you asked, but I'm like, I don't see it. I just didn't see it. But I'm gonna keep looking. If it turns up, I owe you one, man. I owe you one. JLW, appreciate the $5 from you. Watching Cena, Orton, Punk in the same ring in 2024 Made me cry. That was a wholesome moment. Cena, Orton, Punk in the same. When was that? Cena, Orton, Punk in the same ring in 2024. Maybe you just mean in the same ring, not in the same ring together. They haven't been in the ring together, have they? All three of them? When was that? Unless you just mean like this weekend. I don't even know what you're talking about there. Unless I've forgotten about some major segment that just happened. I don't know. But it was definitely cool just to see all of them, you know. But it is cool. We had, John Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk, The Rock. We had a lot of stars in attendance for WrestleMania. Yeah, Roman, I'm curious what Austin's reasoning was. I don't think it's anything personal. It's probably just business, whatever WWE was offering. Maybe he just didn't want to do it. Didn't think it was worth his time. Maybe he didn't want to go to Philadelphia. But Rock and Austin have the Philadelphia history. I was at WrestleMania 15 in Philly. So to see Austin come out and stun The Rock in Philly at WrestleMania 25 years after they main evented that very show, yeah, that's I ain't going to lie, that's disappointing. But, it wasn't going to be about Austin anyway. It was going to be about Cody. And if that spot would have gone to Austin, they would have achieved what I was hoping they would. Because prior to WrestleMania, when we were talking about the possibility of Austin being involved in the main event, I said, that's fine with me. I just don't want him to be basically in the Seth position or be in the position where he is the person that costs Roman the match. I just want him to be out there fending off the bloodline. And that's exactly what Undertaker did. He took out Rock. So Austin could have just done the same thing. And then you could have still had the moment with Cody and Seth and Roman in the ring where Roman targets Seth and then like a moron throws the chair out of the ring, because you've noticed that too. After he hits Seth, he throws the chair out, like he's more concerned with hitting a guy he hates that's not even in the match with a chair than he is just finishing off his opponent that's right there, primed and ready for execution, and he turned his attention. He paid for it. It cost him the title. It was a great story they told there, but I think it would have been even better if it would have been old Stone Cold coming out there and doing his thing. And it might even be fun to have him like in the ring too, in the background, with a beer, handing a beer to Cody or something. Maybe they thought Austin would take too much away from Cody. That could be it. But I'm curious if it was on WWE's end or Austin's end. It feels like WWE would have loved to have him here for this. And Austin and Rock, that visual, seeing that in the ring, I really wish we would have gotten that. That would have made WrestleMania almost too special. So maybe that would have been overload to do that, but it was Undertaker instead. No big deal. Served the same purpose. And WWE was kind of teasing Austin. They mentioned him a few times and whatnot. So yeah, Daniel, I think I'm suffering from a WrestleMania hangover too. I definitely have it, but I think that's probably going to be a wrap. Has everybody smashed that thumbs up button? You guys give me all the likes. I was hoping to get to maybe like 200 likes tonight. We might not quite get there, but I certainly appreciate everybody all weekend. Like I said, it's been 5 straight days of streaming. I took a long weekend off. I haven't been to work since Thursday. I finally go back tomorrow. I took WrestleMania off. We were here for Thursday night, the predictions. Then we were here late Friday night after SmackDown in the Hall of Fame. If you live on the East Coast, you were staying up until 3 a.m. watching this stream. Luckily for me, I'm on the West Coast, so it wasn't that late, but a lot of you had to stay up super late on Friday night to talk about all of that. Then we were here on Saturday for a full watch party of the whole show. Then we stuck around for a review. We did the exact same thing yesterday. And here we just busted out close to 2 hours on the Raw after Mania and put a nice little bow on what has been a very, very fun WrestleMania season on the channel, very fun WrestleMania week, very fun WrestleMania weekend. All of that has been great. And I really can't thank you guys enough for just being here and hanging out with me. Last year I went to WrestleMania, so we couldn't do the YouTube fun. So it was good to be back, in the comfort of my own home, not freezing cold, just watching here, hanging out with y'all, engaging. It was fun, and it's what wrestling is all about. And I'm glad that we were able to experience WrestleMania 40 together. I am. The Juliet is hooking up Jake, the aerial assassin, with a membership. Thank you so much for that, Juliet. She's always passing out the memberships. That's going to be her last one. We are now well over 100 members on the channel. Our next target is 150. So tell your friends if you'd like to support. And now that we are on the other side of WrestleMania season, I can now start concentrating on some of the things that I'm working on the channel. WrestleMania, WWE's going through a few changes. I've kind of got a few, changes in mind for the channel itself, so we can continue to grow, so we can continue to evolve, and continue this fun journey that you guys are on with me. So that is a wrap on WrestleMania 40. I'm almost sad to say goodbye, like you guys are going to see me in like 2 days. But still, like I was looking so much forward to it. It's kind of like, after a vacation, your vacation's over. It's like, oh yeah, I was planned all year for it. And then it went by so fast. And I feel like that's the way this WrestleMania was. Had its ups and downs. We weren't too enamored with night one, but really, turned out to be a successful show after night two. A lot of differences between the two nights with the lighting and the feel and the wind and the chilliness and the vibe and all of that. And by the way, I think Nick Khan did allude to the fact that this WrestleMania was the final WrestleMania that he inherited in terms of where the venue was going to be. And apparently, under Nick Khan, you can forget about ever having to worry about a cold WrestleMania. He is not going to be doing the cold cities anymore. At least that's what he alluded to anyway. So sounds like this was the final WrestleMania, at least for a while, where weather could be a factor. Because you don't want to fuck with that, man. I've been harping on that since WrestleMania 29 in 2013 when they went to MetLife. I'm like, are you guys sure you want to do that? Isn't that going to be balls cold? What if it rains or sleets or snows or something? And then they went to Tampa and got hit with a fucking hurricane. It's just like, stop risking your show. And I was worried about WrestleMania 40. This is a big show, milestone, one that you're going to talk about for decades to come. Do you want to risk it raining for that? And that fucking up the aesthetics and the visual of the history that you're creating? I would never in a million years want to take those chances. And if I'm somebody like Cody Rhodes and I know I'm about to have the biggest moment of my career, I don't want to have to worry about the weather cooperating for it. I just want to know it's going to go off without a hitch. And if you got a roof over your place, it will. So I think we're going to get some indoor WrestleManias for a while. And if we do get an outdoor one, I think it's going to probably be out here in California or maybe down in Florida, even though you are risking rain again. Otherwise, I think you just keep it indoors from now on. I just think that's the safer route to go. So next year is probably going to be Minneapolis. Hopefully the year after that will be Vegas, maybe back to Arizona again. And if we can get anything on my half of the country here on the West Coast in a drivable distance, I will go, because I really don't want to have to fly to WrestleMania. Last year, LA is just an hour and a half up the road. And if I would have added plane tickets to that trip for as much money as I spent, man, it's crazy to justify that amount of money. So I would like it if I could just drive to Mania, just so I can be able to sleep at night with how much fucking money I spent. But hopefully we will do a Mania again live in the future. But it sounds like next year we're going to be right back here on YouTube watching it together from Minneapolis. All right, I guess that's it. I'm going to say my goodbyes now. I love all of you. Again, thank you for being here, all the members, all the longtime listeners that have been with me since the first WrestleMania we watched together, which would have been WrestleMania 27. I recorded my first ever video for YouTube about a week after WrestleMania 26. So we've been watching and talking about WrestleManias together here since WrestleMania 27. So this is the 14th one. And in 3 days, I hit my 14-year anniversary on YouTube. Unfortunately, I did not prepare any commemorative video for that because I just had too much going on with WrestleMania season. But yeah, we are now about to be 14 years deep up in here. Even though the first 5 years don't really count, they do exist. So I didn't really take things seriously until about 2015, to be honest. That's why I always say the first 5 years don't count, because 2015 was when I started the website. We made everything available in podcast form. I started taking the channel more seriously. I started, obligating myself to be up here for Raw reviews, and I was never doing that the first 5 years. You guys would just get me when you got me, but once we got to around 2015, I started saying, okay, let's make this a thing, and it's been a hell of a journey over the last 9 years doing that. So thanks again for being here. Nate Dogg, what is the next watch along? Holy shit. I'm going to take 24 hours to not think about wrestling Tomorrow, I'm going to start putting that together. I do like the idea of doing a WCW show. So we might do that on Sunday. We'll be here on Saturday for the podcast, of course. Lots to talk about. I will give it some thought. But we're either going to do a WCW show or maybe we'll bust out a Backlash that we haven't gotten to yet. I will give it some thought and get back to you guys. But until then, have a great next couple of days. Thanks again for all of your support. It means the world to me. And thanks for being with me during my favorite time of the year, WrestleMania season. I will be catching you guys in just a couple of days. Thanks for everything. Peace.